My name is Patrick Siemek. I'm a technical consultant at SolidCAD Solutions, and today I'll be here demonstrating a few different tools from the CTC BIM Project Suite tool palette and how we could help automate some of the items that you may be doing currently right now inside of your projects. So in today's session, we're going to be covering the View Creator, which will allow you to quickly set up your projects as you are starting to work with them. So we could create many different kind of levels. We could create different views with view templates. So the View Creator is a great tool to help you quickly set up a project. We're going to see how we could access and use the View Creator utilizing the tool itself. We're also going to be looking at how we can automate some naming conventions utilizing another tool called Spreadsheet Link. So again, during projects as you work with, there might be some inconsistent naming conventions that you may have or specific naming conventions that you use in the project browser just to help you organize the views. But when those views are onto a sheet, we may want to title them differently. So we're going to see how we could utilize the Spreadsheet Link tool to help us create these naming conventions and automate as your project goes on and on. And finally, going to look at a free tool from CTC, which is called the View Aligner. So having that daunting task of having many sheets within your projects, floor plans applied to them, and having them slightly off-center as you kind of move up and down, looking at your different sheets, we can then use the free tool called View Aligner to make sure everything is properly in place. So with that said, let's already just jump right into the demo. So as I have my Revit open, so this is just a simple starting project that I have created. And in my project browser, all I just have are elevation views. So the first thing I want to do is I need my certain types of views as I start to begin to work within a project. Levels already have been established inside of this project itself. Where we can find the tools that we'll be looking through today is from the CTC software tab as you download the different types of tools. Underneath, we're going to now see the BIM Project Suite. And from here, we're going to see different tools that we can see. The ones in the green are paid tools, and some of the free ones that if you download them, they will then always stay there once the trial is over, which we have the View Aligner that we'll be coming and looking at a little bit later. But to start off, let's go to the View Creator tool found on the far right of the ribbon. As I select the View Creator tool, we have many different tabs at the top. So again, at the beginning, we have the different levels, which already have been established inside of this project, but you do have the ability to create additional levels as needed. For me, I want to get this project up and running as quick as I can based on the levels that I have. So at the top, I'm going to jump to my Plan and Ceiling tab. From here, we have our different levels along with some abbreviations. So I'm going to have some type of typical naming convention so I could organize my views properly inside of the project browser, which I have the abbreviations just being numbered. I'm going to select a few of these levels. Once I have selected a few of the levels, then I'm going to go to the center of my tool. From here, we have view templates that already have been established within my project template. With these view templates, already abbreviations have been added to them. So again, I could add those to my naming convention. A couple of the view templates that I'm going to create to start my project are going to be my general floor plan views, my finished floor plan views, life and safety, and presentation. You could always add additional views after they have been created, or in this case, you could always add them to add to your set. On the right side, we have phases. So again, depending on the type of project that you're using, existing, new construction, or having both, you could always input the information to that, again, to add to your naming convention process. So over here, going to select the new construction option. At the bottom of my View Creator tool, we can then select and specify how we want the naming convention of our views to be. We could add a prefix, we could add a suffix, and then the order that these views come in. So I'm going to keep it as it already has been set up with my level of abbreviation, my view template, and my phase. By selecting Add, we can see and pre-populate the views as they are going to be shown inside of the project. We can verify if the naming convention is correct. If not, remove the views, reassemble how you want the views to be created, naming conventions, view templates, levels, phases, and add them again. So with just a few clicks over here, selecting my levels, my view templates, and the phase of my views, adding them to the list at the bottom. As I hit create views, in a matter of seconds, I can see I have created 20 plan views. So with that, I'm gonna hit close from here, close at the top. If I look inside my project browser now, as I hit the plus button, we can start to see we do have multiple views now created quickly with the correct view template, and they have been organized in the proper location within my project. I'm gonna jump to my floor plan here. Just gonna create a simple building just for some context within my project. Gonna draw a few walls in place. And trim those corners. Gonna add also a scope box just to have everything organized in place. With the scope box, I'm also going to apply it to my views. Just gonna modify some of these levels where my constraints are going to. Apply my scope box to the view, and I'll also apply it to all other views. So once we have our views created, we have a simple building in place, added a scope box to those views. We now have our different naming conventions within our project. So one of the things we could do, we could better create the naming conventions as you start duplicating your views. They start to have different naming conventions, working views. People start to rename them, maybe not following standards within the company. We could use Spreadsheet Link to help us automate and update those views as needed. Also, with these views, as they're being named, we have this created just for our specific project browser, so they're being organized correctly. But when I place these views onto a sheet, I actually want a different title on sheet. Once again, we could use the Spreadsheet Link tool to help us automate with that. I'm gonna go now to the CTC tab once again at the top, and we're gonna be using our Spreadsheet Link tool. I'm gonna activate this tool from here. You can think about the Spreadsheet Link tool being Excel live in Revit. So in the background, as you open the tool, we kind of have an Excel format sheet over here. And then we have another dialog box about what we can create a sheet for. So starting with my categories that we have. So again, many different categories that we could select, similar to like a schedule inside of Revit. I'm gonna create a views schedule, or a view, spreadsheet link. Once you select the views, we can see all of the different tabs start to appear. Then we can start picking and choosing which parameters that we want from the actual views themselves that we could leverage moving forward inside of the project. So a couple of the ones that I'm gonna add to this is gonna be my view name, my title on sheet, view type, we have associated level, the type of view that we're using. So again, adding all the parametric data that's part of it, view creator abbreviation, view template, scope box, and phase. So from here, you do have the ability to add many different types of parameters to your schedule as needed to help you move forward with creating your spreadsheet link. In the background, we can now see it has populated all of my different views, not only floor plans, but also elevations. In this specific example, I only want floor plans. So back to my spreadsheet link settings, I have the ability to sort or filter my views as you would in a schedule. I'm just gonna sort my views by the type of view. And if the type of view contains floor plan, have it in place. And if I look in the back, we can start to see now the floor plan view is only visible for us to use. No elevations are there. From here, we have the view tabs already created with some of the settings. But what I want to do, I want to correlate back my floor plan views to their proper associated levels. So with our view tab selected, I could also add another levels tab. So I could leverage when I do some calculations in Excel. I'm going to double click levels. In the background, we'll see another levels tab be created. We can then add the parameters that we want part of the levels. I'm going to want the name of the level and also that view creator abbreviation. So we start to have that in place, and we can do some sorting and grouping. Let it be by the view creator abbreviation. So before we start doing any kind of formulas inside of our spreadsheet link, it's always easier to create the formulas inside of Excel. You do have kind of the values and kind of the formulas being shown that you can kind of select and use. So we're actually going to jump into Excel, do some of our formulas inside of there, and then jump back into our spreadsheet link inside of Revit and finalize that process. So from here, with these, say, spreadsheet link options that we have, I'm going to save out this file. Selecting save, just going to bring it to my desktop, call it webinar Excel. It's going to ask me, do I want to open the Excel file already, which I do. I'm going to select yes. And from here, we can start to see now we have our Excel file. Once we start creating the formulas inside of here, we can then copy and paste it back to our spreadsheet link, which we're going to do moving forward from here. So starting with the view name, one of the things that I want to do with the view name is making sure that I'm going to have the proper level that I'm associated with, the proper type of plan, the proper view creator abbreviation, let it be the view template, and scope box. So again, we can make sure the views that we have in our project are automatically being updated based on what they are accessing. So one of the things at the beginning, I'm going to start over here, is making sure I can identify which levels I want to look for. So I'm going to select my first cell here at the top, selecting equals, going to use the V lookup tool to make sure that I want to identify that when my lower level named floor is going to be then driven to or picking up the view creator abbreviation from my level section. And once we have the view creator, once we have the level selected, going to go back to levels, going to then say from column 2, which is that view creator value that we're going to have, I want that number to be picked up. And we're going to close off that value here. And here we should see 00. So lower level is using the lower level name, but the view creator abbreviation. If I go back and I apply this to all my other views, we should start to see that in place. So let's try this again. Oh, one of the things I forgot over here with the formula itself, I'm going to put a $sign in between C4 and D14 and apply it to all my other views. So again, it's going to have the absolute values of those cells going back to the levels tab. So with this, we now have the levels automatically being picked up from the associated level of that view. As we start adding additional information, I'm going to add a hyphen. So I'm going to type in and colon space, colon space. So now we start to have the hyphen. We could apply that down. We start to add the additional information. The next one that I'm going to want to select is going to be, going to come back into here, going to use an if statement. So over here, I'm going to do and if so I'm going to have if my going to click here, if my view creator abbreviation equals to nothing, then make sure it's going to have the the view type in its name, or in the end, use the view creator. So again, if at any point there is no view creator abbreviation, maybe because a view template has not been applied to the actual view, then it's going to have whatever the view type is, or it's going to keep it blank. So again, I can apply that to all the other views, and we should start having that populate. Moving forward with the naming conventions inside of the projects. So I'm going to add another one. And let me just do this. And we're going to do if. So this time around, if a scope box. So if there's no scope box applied to our view, I want Revit to kind of just put in nothing. So I'm going to say if, in this case, my J4 cell equals to none. So right now, if there was no scope box, it would have had a none value. Then I don't want anything. Oops. Then I don't want anything. Or then I want a hyphen. Oops, hyphen. Yeah, so as we start kind of adding that into, we should start to see now the other values coming. So if J4, actually I'm having here, if J4 equals to none, then nothing. Oh, if so, I'm actually going to have it as J4 I'll do. So now we could add the formula here, and actually I got to add additional values. So I have the plan overall. I'm actually going to add another and colon and oops, this one is the one I wanted. So we have that. So I'm just going to add after this one another space and. So there we can now have the spacing, and I could drag that all the way down to my views. So again, as you can start to see, we could add additional naming conventions just using the parameters that are coming from the formulas themselves, and then having it inside of our views. The next one, title on sheet. So again, first, the view name itself, it's going to be what is the associated level tracked back to my levels view and giving its view creator abbreviation. What type of view, what type of view creator abbreviation from the view template is being used, and then what is the scope box. In this case, I did overall. The next one, gonna go to my title on sheet. So again, the naming convention that I use initially for the view name is for my project browser, but on title on sheet, I want something a little bit different. So from here, I'm gonna click inside of this location, and I'm gonna do another statement. So equals, I'm going to have if, actually I do not have a working view here, I've just noticed. If, I'm going to say this time, if my view template, or I could do my view creator abbreviation, if that equals to working plan. So again, if that view creator abbreviation was set to working plan, then do not place on sheet value would be what I want to be placed in, or then it's going to be the naming convention of this. It's going to be my, or am I over here? I got to select. Oops, let's do this. Then it's going to be the view template. Oops. So floor finish plan. So actually what I actually want to add over here would be my initial associated level. So I'm going to just actually add that here. If, and I'm going to do equals my associated level. And there we go. And I'm just going to add another option here. And there we go. So now we got the lower level option. Actually, I could take away, just going to add a space to it. Lower level floor plan. And then if there is a place on sheet. So then if I had the lower level floor plan, and then if the view creator had working plan, then I want to show do not place on sheet. Right now, I just noticed I do not have a working plan view. I'm just going to change this a little bit, and just to show that how this would work, I'm actually going to do and place in finish plan and say I do not want to place this, or we'll do presentation plan. Presentation plan to do not place on sheet. And if not, then I want nothing. Oops. Place on sheet, not nothing. Then I want the actual view creator. There we go. And if I select this and drop it down, we can start to see where I could start the elements being placed. And then you start to have the do not place on sheet. So with this being in place, another option that I could add to my naming convention is just giving an uppercase. So I go to the front of my formula and I type in upper, and I could close this. I could close this. We should now have everything as uppercase. And if I drag that down, everything should be properly in place. So with these new formulas, I could take the existing formulas that I have from Excel, jump back into Revit. One of the things you could do inside of the spreadsheet link is when you have view name or title on sheet, I could click these calculated formulas. So instead of dragging down to all of the different cells to do that calculation, I could check those on, come back into the spreadsheet link, paste my formula, and automatically that will happen, or that will calculate those values throughout the other options. And then the final one that I have in place over here, oops, gonna come here, select this one, come back into Excel, or sorry, spreadsheet link, paste that, and we should have those starting out place. I think I have a little mistake here coming into Excel. I have, let's see what I got going here. So F7 and, nope, probably don't want that. It's just a little function that I have at the beginning. I have the level along with do not place on sheet, but we'll leave it as we have here. Gonna then apply all of these values. So again, you could save out these worksheets and have them pre-populated again to the next product that you work with, run the tool, and it will automatically update that information. Gonna select active worksheet, yes to my values. Again, 20 elements have now been updated. As I minimize my tool, we can now see those new changes. Along with, if I select one of these levels and I go to my properties and look at the title on sheet, we have now automated the naming convention. So again, a great tool that you could use, Spreadsheet Link, to quickly rename your views, but also rename the title on sheets that you place on. To move forward with that, using still Spreadsheet Link, creating sheets. So in Revit, we do have the tedious task of creating sheets. With Spreadsheet Link, we could speed up that process. So back into Spreadsheet Link, this time around, I'm gonna go to Sheets, add that as my option here. What do I want it? I want my sheet number and sheet name. So again, there's already a sheet existing for my starting view. I'm gonna add additional sheets. I'm gonna select create new sheets. How many of them do I want? I want 20 of them. What starting view? A1 metric, select create. We now have them ready in place. What's nice about, again, the Spreadsheet Link and Excel, we can copy and paste already a list of sheets that you may have. Oops, not that one. Gonna delete that. Let me do that again. Not this one. I want to Control C. Come back to Revit. Doesn't allow me. There we go. So I was still stuck on that cell. Copy from here, jump back into Revit, paste into there. With those views created, I'm going to select Apply, Yes, and in a few seconds, 20 new sheets have been created. As I close out of this tool once again, go back into my project browser, there are all the sheets that now have been created, again with the proper naming convention based off of the one I had. So the final tool over here that we're going to look at is going to be the free tool, the View Aligner. So with the task of going to our, say, third floor plan. Actually, those are all presentations. I'm going to go to Life and Safety. I'm going to drag and drop my lower level life and safety plan, saying where I want it. So I'm going to go to the center of my view. To the other sheets, ground floor, I'm just going to place this view somewhere in the top right. Second floor, I'm going to drag this one, say top right also. Third floor, somewhere on the bottom right. And one just somewhere in the middle. So the reasoning behind this, trying to show you what we can do, if I start tiling my views, we can see not all the sheets are properly centered. Again, they're the same building, they have the same scale. So a nice free tool to get everything centered. Don't have to use a guide grid, don't have to use a reference plane or a detail line. Back into the CTC tools, BIM Project Suite. Underneath, we have free tools. And within the free tools, we're going to see we have a View Aligner. Again, free tool that you could use. With my views now tiled, I'm going to select View Aligner. How do I want to align my views? First, horizontally. I'm going to select my horizontal option, select the first view that I want everything to align with. And from here, we can start to see everything starts to push itself into the correct location. The next direction that I want to align itself to is vertically. I'm going to select my vertical tool, select the first position that I want the alignment to be from, and then I can start moving on, selecting all the other tools or all the other views. With a matter of seconds, we can see that we could populate all of our reviews onto our sheets, have them properly centered to each other, and then when they're printed, they are not offset, and utilizing the other tools that you would normally, guide grid, reference planes, detail lines, using that View Aligner tool to quickly get to where you like to be. There is another tool that CTC does have, which is called Sheet Assistant. Again, it's a paid tool, but you do have the ability to quickly automate even more functions of aligning views, preset and configure views from project to project, legends, floor plans, notes can automatically be populated. But View Aligner tool is still a free tool and a great one to use. I'm going to come here. So in conclusion, View Creator allows for fast project startup. So at the beginning of our project, you establish your levels, you start bringing in and selecting the levels that you need to create views for, utilize your view templates, utilize the View Creator abbreviation values to properly name those views, have view templates applied to them, and then have pre-populate your projects really quick at the beginning. You could utilize Spreadsheet link and leverage for consistent naming conventions, as we saw. Keep the associated level and abbreviation the same throughout your views. Uppercase for our title on sheets. Along with Spreadsheet link, you could also create multiple sheets in a short period of time, as we saw, just copying and pasting. Or again, you could use formulas to help you create your different sheet sets. Also, utilize the free tool View Aligner to make sure all views are aligned on sheets. Again, a nice free tool that can be used when you're inside of your project. Make sure everything's properly aligned together. So in the end, I'd like to thank everyone for attending or watching this video. My name is Patrick Simek, technical consultant at SolidCAD. If you have any other kind of questions or comments, feel free to email me at patrick.simek@solidcad.ca. And if there are any questions for now, feel free to speak up or to put them inside of the chat. So there are no questions here right now. So once again, thank you everyone for joining or watching the session. Hopefully it was informative and hope you all have a great day. Thank you.